Okay, so let's dive right in. Today we're looking at the incredible life and work of Dr. Milton Biswas. And really, he's so much more than just an academic. You could almost call him the architect of an entire community's story, a voice for people who didn't have one, and a fantastic example of how one person can genuinely shape a national conversation.
So who exactly is Dr. Biswas? Well, we can't just put him in a box and call him a professor or a researcher. It's something much deeper than that. He's really become this singular, powerful voice for the Christian community in Bangladesh, dedicating his life to preserving their history and fighting for their rights.
And this whole thing brings us to the central question of this explainer, doesn't it? How does a nation write the story of its minorities? Are they just footnotes in the main textbook, or are they a critical, integral part of the national story? Dr. Biswas' entire life's work is in many ways an answer to that very question. Now, to really get a handle on his impact, you have to understand this term, intellectual activism. It's not a combination you see every day. It means he doesn't just hang out in a library. He takes all that deep, scholarly research and actually uses it as a tool for real-world change, fighting for justice and organizing his community from the ground up.
Okay, so let's get into the first pillar of his work and see how this all plays out, his role as a historian. He took on the absolutely monumental task of uncovering 450 years of Christian history in Bangladesh.
And believe me, this was not easy. The challenge was immense. Why? Because the community's history was totally fragmented. It was scattered everywhere, buried in old missionary diaries, tucked away in separate church records, hidden in colonial-era documents. There was just no single coherent story to tell.
So what did he do? He pieced it all back together. He reconstructed it. And this is where you can see his brilliant, methodical approach. He took 450 years of chaos and structured it into 4 clear, distinct eras. You've got the early Portuguese and Jesuit era, where the very first Bengali book was printed. Then you move into the British missionary era, which, laid the groundwork for modern Bengali prose. After that, the turmoil of the Pakistan era, and finally, right into the modern age of an independent Bangladesh. And in doing this, he brought these incredible hidden histories to light. I mean, he was the one who documented the overlooked contributions of Christian freedom fighters in the 1971 Liberation War. He showed how the church wasn't just a religious building, but a social liberation movement for marginalized communities. He connected the dots, proving how that early missionary work on grammar was fundamental to modern Bengali literature. He literally gave the community its story back.
But recovering history, that was only one part of the challenge. The next part was building unity within a community that was, itself, pretty divided.
Right, so here's the thing you have to understand. The Christian community wasn't some single unified group. No, it was fragmented. You had Catholics, Protestants, Baptists, all with their own leaders and traditions. And that internal division, well, it really weakened their collective voice on the national stage. So Dr. Biswas's solution was both practical and kind of brilliant. Through his leadership at the Ecumenical Christian Trust, or ECT, he created a clear path to unity. Step 1, just get the leaders in the same room, foster some dialogue. Step 2, organize seminars on the problems they all shared. And Step 3, launch joint social programs like health camps and legal aid that served everyone, no matter their denomination. He built unity through common action.
And this quote from the man himself just says it all, really. Our theological differences should not be a barrier to our human unity. It's such a powerful, simple idea, and it guided his entire effort to bring people together.
All right, let's move on to his third major role, because this is where it all really comes together. Dr. Biswas wasn't just a historian or an organizer. He was, and still is, a public intellectual with a warrior's pen, a relentless advocate for minority rights right out in the open. Take a look at this number, 4,000 plus. That's how many newspaper columns he has written over the last 2 decades. Just stop and think about that for a second. That is an absolutely incredible level of sustained public advocacy, shaping the national conversation day in and day out.
And he wasn't writing about, trivial stuff. He used his pen as a weapon for justice. He courageously took on really explosive topics, exposing land grabbing for minorities, championing legal rights for everyone, speaking out against religious extremism, and pushing for a secular, progressive Bangladesh. His columns really became a moral compass for a lot of people.
And his influence is official too. Through his role as secretary of the Bangladesh Progressive Columnist Forum, he's a key figure in this collective intellectual movement, working with others to build a more inclusive nation. This isn't just a personal crusade.
So when you put all these pieces together, the historian, the unifier, the advocate, what is the lasting legacy here? Well, it's a legacy of bridge building. This table really synthesizes it perfectly. Through that intellectual activism, he created a whole new awareness around minority rights. Through his leadership, he forged unprecedented unity. Through his historical research, he literally recovered a lost identity. And through all that public advocacy, he became a recognized moral voice for the entire nation.
And this, right here, gets to the heart of what makes him so effective. This dual identity. When he speaks, he brings the empathy of a pastor and the rigor of a historian. He connects with people's hearts, but he also connects with their minds. It's that powerful combination that makes him such a credible leader for his community and a respected intellectual for the whole nation.
And that leaves us with this final thought. Dr. Biswas' life really makes you wonder, what is the role of just one intellectual in building a more inclusive nation? His work provides a pretty powerful answer, showing us that one dedicated person, armed with knowledge, courage, and a deep sense of justice, really can help write a better story for everyone.